They cheated us, and nobody cares. Welcome into the queue, everybody. I am Belligerent, and yes, they cheated us. Tribe cheated us all, and nobody's mad about it. Not even me, and certainly not them. But think about it for a minute. They did cheat us. They cheated us out of seeing possibly the greatest Vainglory team in history. And I'm not talking about Tribe. I'm talking about Cloud9. Tribe beating Cloud9 put an end to what we had spent the entire year watching, which was going to arguably be the greatest Vainglory team that has ever played. And now we can't say that. Why can't we say that? Well, obviously, because they didn't win the World Championship. But let's think about it for a minute. C9 starts off by winning the Spring Unified Championships in London. Surprised everybody, caught everybody off guard. Everybody thought that was TSM's contest to win. And C9 showed up. And then after the spring season, you go to Mobile Masters. And you have the Rox Armada Gauntlet. And let's not fool ourselves. That was the closest version of the world champion Rox Armada that we've got to see all year. Right? They came in and dominated every team that stood in their way. They dominated them. They made them look foolish. Druid was in full form on his Baron, taught everybody how to play Baron and how to build weapon power Baron, and just destroyed people. And then they get to Cloud9, and Cloud9 dismantles the world champion Rox Armada. Like, the Rox Armada that we saw at the World Championship was not Rox Armada, the world champions. Okay? Same team name, sure. But it's the same way that the Tribe we saw at Worlds was not the Tribe that spent the good majority of the year down in Challengers, right? They changed the roster, okay? The Rox that Tribe beat was not the world champion Rox, okay? But the Rox that C9 beat at Mobile Masters, about as damn close as you can get to the world champion Rox Armada, right? They had swapped out Ingenious for Willie, but they were clearly still in full form. They destroyed all of the teams in that Mobile Masters series, and C9 showed up. And then we go to the Summer Championships. Everybody knew C9 was the team to beat, and they won. They beat Tribe. They destroyed Tribe after Tribe made TSM look silly. And then they beat Tribe. Right? Like, you can't argue against how great this C9 team has been all season long. And then we get to the World Championships. They go undefeated. Undefeated through groups. Undefeated through quarters. And then they get to semis, and I've already said this in a previous podcast, I didn't think Tribe stood a chance. And then Tribe cheated us. They robbed us. They robbed us out of seeing the greatest team ever. From start to finish through this year. That was Cloud9. And nobody's mad about it, and I don't blame them, because you have to give all props to Tribe. They showed up at Worlds. They showed up to play. They showed up to fight. They showed up to make no contest about it. Right? And they dropped a couple of games in groups. Right? But then they showed up and they made C9 look silly. T-Tigers left very little argument about who the best jungler in the world is. Because, oh my God. Like, and I had this discussion like through earlier in the season when I was coaching with Nova. You know, we kind of did a in-house thing where we just kind of sat down and we ranked who we thought were top to bottom best players at best position or at each position, et cetera, and we ranked them. And nobody, like, it didn't matter who we asked. We asked staff. We asked some of the players to get involved. No player was unanimous at any position as the best player in the world except for Gabe. Hey, I am interrupting this podcast to throw in this little tidbit. In this podcast, I did say that we were discussing players who we thought were best in the world at their position. That was not an accurate description. We were discussing the best players in the NA region. So a little mistake there. Now back to the show. Gabe Vizel, best captain in the world, and I still wouldn't entertain arguments about that. Yes, Max Green deserves part of that conversation. Okay? Max Green definitely deserves part of that conversation now. But I personally still wouldn't put Max above Gabe, despite how the teams played. I mean, it was the World Championships. I got that, but it takes more than one series against Cloud9, in my opinion, to dismantle Gabe and everything he has accomplished and all of the great things that he's done and all of the spectacular plays that he's made. So I'm not trying to say that, but nobody else, no carry, no jungler, was unanimously thought of as the best at their position by all of the people that we talked to and discussed it with. And that was just something that we did in-house. But I think you could say that I don't care like how far out you put that conversation. You're probably not going to find a unanimous thought about who's the best at their position. But goddamn, T-Tigers, like, before the showing at Worlds, I had T-Tigers, I think top 3. I don't remember exactly which order, but top 3. I know I personally had put Joseph number 1 when, back, I don't know how many, 4, 5, 6 months ago, whenever we had this conversation. It was before the autumn season. That much I know. I'm pretty sure it was before the summer season as well. Or maybe during the summer season. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. But I know that I had Joseph as the top jungler. And T-Tigers made me look foolish by thinking that. Because that... And look, I don't know who on Tribe calls their rotations. I don't know if each player keeps track of the timings and their rotations on their own. I don't know how it works on their team. But son of a... Tiggs, can you give a guy a minion? Come on. And it wasn't just Cloud9 that he did it to. He did it to Ace. And he is the best jungler in the world, in my opinion. There is no doubt about it at this point in time, in my mind. The way that he rotates, his aggression, just the way that, look, Tribe won the World Championships based on how they dominated the jungle. And look at the game they lost against Ace. Look at the game they lost. What happened? Ace came in and blew up the jungle. Ace was like, fuck you, we're not taking this anymore. We're taking the jungle this time. Tribe's performance was on the back of T-Tigers. And that's not taking anything away from Max Green or Dienzio. I mean, you have to give it, Dienzio legitimately made an argument for best laner in the world the way he played as well. Legitimately. After watching Dienzio at Worlds and the way he dismantled C9 and the way he dismantled Ace, don't give that man Sky ever again. Oh, my Lord. Like, I mean, he's impressive on the other ones. He's impressive on Adagio. He's impressive on Vox. You know, he was impressive against C9 on Rona. But did anybody else get seasickness from watching him play Sky? Oh my God. That boy can play some Sky. All right. But Tribe deserves everything. All of the doubt, all of the skepticism that I personally have had about this team since they were formed, since they came up through Challengers, since they came from Challengers, since they never really made a substantial statement. Not during the regular season, right? When they first came up, they kind of slipped in as the 5th or 6th seed. Okay. Not even after the spring championship or the summer championships where they took 2nd place. Not after the autumn season where they had 5 points after split 1. Not after they needed a wild card spot. But after Worlds, look, there's no more question how good this team is. The question now for me about Tribe is, can they do it when it's not live? Right? Like, we have to see you do it when it's not live. I get that they get this live buff and really the championships is all that matters and it's always going to be, but I want to see you do it all the time. And we don't know what's going to happen now. I mean, now it's almost kind of all irrelevant, right? Because 3v3 is out, 5v5 is in. At least I'm assuming. I'm assuming that they're going straight into 5v5 next year for competitive. You notice how the 5v5 reveal said that 5v5 was coming to Vainglory in February, right around the time the new pro season is going to start. I would be surprised if the new competitive, or I would be surprised if there's any competitive at the pro level in Vainglory next year that's not 5v5. I would be shocked. So, we don't know what's going on anymore, right? And I believe it was Scoundrel that said it during the broadcast that, like, that was the legacy game, which implied that he knows that they're not going to be seeing any more 3v3 competitive. At least that's the assumption that he's making from that statement, if he doesn't know for sure. So, like, everything we just learned about all these teams is kind of blown up now, right? Because it's a whole new game. But Tribe, what we can say about Tribe is that regardless of what happens going into 5v5, they put their footprint in the cement. They are world champions, and they deserve. They were spectacular. Okay. And I'll admit it, it's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see C9 win. Okay, it's not what I wanted to see, but I am thoroughly impressed. They thoroughly have my respect. Those 3 guys are amazing. But I'm still going to say it. They cheated us. Right? You know, because you can still make people can still make arguments against this Tribe team. They can. As far as, like, if you want to discuss, like, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, the Hall of Fame or the best ever, they're the best right now. Okay, if C9 had won the world championship the way it looked like they were going to win, by steamrolling everybody, if that plays out that way, there's no argument. I mean, there's going to be some people who are going to argue C9 versus Rocks, but you can legitimately say that C9 beat Rocks at the top of their game at Mobile Masters. It was only one game, I get it. But at least there's a sample. So if C9 wins, if C9 walks through all those teams, even if they go to 5 games against Tribe or something like that and they drop a game against it, if C9 wins the world championship this year, if that had been C9 standing on that stage instead of Tribe, I personally wouldn't entertain any argument about the greatest team ever in Vainglory. But now you have to entertain it. You do. You have to entertain it. I mean, you could argue that, there's always the argument that, well, if you think C9 was that good, Tribe beat them, so now you have to say Tribe is that good. There is that argument. I would say you're full of shit if that was your argument, but there is that argument. Right? But I don't buy into that, whatever it is. I don't know. They were talking about it on the broadcast a lot. This team beats that team, therefore they are better than this team. I don't buy into that. C9 showed consistently over the course of an entire year. Tribe showed up for Worlds. And then Tribe showed up. You could say Tribe showed up and they weren't even Tribe. They were Immortals. They weren't even Tribe. But that group of 3 players showed up for the Summer Championships. They took second. Okay. So, but now there is a conversation to be had. And in my opinion, I think you got to say that Phoenix Armada, last year's world champion, you probably have to say that they're the best team that we've ever seen. The way that they just mantled everybody last year. They made a TSM team who I didn't think anybody could beat look bad. Okay. So it's an interesting discussion. It is. Okay. But big props to Tribe. Big props to T-Tigers, D'Enzio, and Max Green. Huge shout-outs to them. Huge shout-outs to them because they deserve every bit of admiration that everybody wants to give them right now. Because regardless of everything that I've said in this podcast and regardless of everything that came before Worlds, those guys showed up for Worlds and they won it. And they won it convincingly. So, it was a hell of a ride. I got to say that much. It was a hell of a ride. And let's be honest, right? It was a hell of a hard time actually watching Worlds. And I'm not even talking about the technical stuff. I'm talking about the time that it aired. Oh my God. I honestly watched most of it on VODs. I couldn't do that. I'm too old. I'm not teenager anymore. I'm not 20 something. I can't do the fucking all-nighters anymore. But I got to see Tribe beat Ace this morning for me. That was nice. I went to bed last night. I woke up and it was almost like there was an alarm clock in my head because I actually woke up before my alarm clock this morning, and I woke up and I turned on Twitch because I wanted to see, who won or if they were still going. And it was actually the exact moment that they were getting ready to start the World Championship. They had just finished 5v5 and done whatever filler in between that they had done, and it was literally Tribe versus Ace just getting on the stage. So that was great timing for me. I got to watch that. I got to go back and watch the VODs of the 5v5. I want to see how that all played out, and we'll talk about that in an upcoming podcast, and I'm excited and I'm hyped, but I got to see that performance by Tribe. I got to see Ace tease us. There was a couple of times I thought, ooh, Ace is going to make this a game. Ace is going to make this a series, and it just didn't happen. It was all Tribe all the time. So huge props to them. Huge shout out to them. You got to give big credit to Chief Pat for, having the guts to pick them up. Because I don't know anything about the business side of acquiring a team and playing it. I don't know about that stuff, but it probably wasn't the cheapest investment to pick them up from Immortals. That would be my guess. So huge props to Chief Pat for picking them up. You got, and let's not, and because it always frustrates me, so I don't want to do it too. Huge shout out to their coach, Hot Sauce, and all of their support staff, because and this is for another podcast because I'm getting really, I'm over my typical time right now. But, I said that Tribe won this on the back of T Tigers. Beyond that, Tribe won this by beating everybody in almost every draft that they played in this entire World Championship. Like, they made C9 look like they didn't know what the hell they were doing in drafts. Like, they had an answer for every draft. It was phenomenal the way that they drafted, the way that their support staff planned and prepared and just had an answer ready for every hero that every team drafted against them. It was phenomenal. Like, being a coach and being from the support side myself, I was thoroughly impressed with the way that Tribe support staff showed up. So huge shout out to them. Thanks for listening, everybody. Oh, I'm gonna be hanging out with the Shatter the Vein podcast upcoming soon. So be on the lookout for that. We're gonna talk some worlds and some 5v5 and some other stuff. I don't even know yet because we haven't done it yet, but that's in the works. It's in the plans. I'm gonna be on there, so check me out on there. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter. Let me know what you want to hear. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know. Give me some responses. I love seeing them. I don't get to respond to them all. I wish that I could. I wish that I was better at that. But just know that if you are sending me messages or you have left comments or whatever, I appreciate it. I see them all. Sometimes I don't have great responses for them at that moment in time. Sometimes I never come up with a great response for it, so I don't always answer. But it's not because I'm ignoring you, and it's not because I don't appreciate you. I really do. And also keep in mind, if you want to keep up with this podcast, because I've seen some great, and I appreciate all the love on Twitter. I've seen some great love on Twitter. We're not just on YouTube. We are on iTunes. So you can actually subscribe to us through the podcast app, and you will get you'll get notifications, and it will automatically download or whatever that app thing does. So you don't have to come to YouTube to listen to this every time. So I am Belligerent. This was the Q. Thanks for listening.